Welcome inside a special edition of the Scores Table. Brian Haenchen joined by 2024 Miss Basketball Chloe Spreen. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Danny and Courtney, who disappeared, but Danny is here. Courtney will be along shortly. So two Miss Basketball winners. Danny hit Chloe pretty well. So I'll start the questions here. And Chloe, just how does this feel? How does this moment feel for you?
Feels great. It's never been like a huge dream of mine, but growing up and watching all great players like Jordan and a bunch of Miss Basketball, I think I just always wanted to grow up and be the best player out on the court and be the best player I could be for my team. And whatever that was, like winning state or winning sectional championship, I just wanted to be the best. And I think as I got older, this became a goal of mine. So I'm just really thankful to be wearing it.
Danny?
Congratulations, Chloe.
Thank you.
I didn't know this is as soon as the thing came up, that was the first that I had actually seen it. So congratulations. It's news to me.
Thank you.
I think my first question would be, you kind of talked already about, it became a goal of yours as you got older, but I would date back to when you and I first met in seventh grade, and you had like these kind of maybe unreal expectations set on you. But then you have experience playing with Layla Hall, who won in 23. You have experience with playing with Jayla Smith in 21, Sydney Parrish in 20. Like, how did being around other Miss Basketballs maybe kind of change your outlook on maybe this goal and what it meant to you?
Yeah, I think definitely like watching those players and just seeing them wear this jersey and go out there and play great, especially being around Layla and, Jory and all of them. I think that as I grew up and I wanted to watch them and be in that position, I think that it motivated me in a way to be out there someday and to be wearing this jersey for sure.
I remember we talked growing up, and you said it was around third or fourth grade, I think, when you started taking basketball more seriously. What was it about that county tournament that kind of flipped things for you?
I think it was just the competitiveness of me. I loved how basketball was so competitive, especially the family that I grew up in, very competitive, and just all my uncles and my dads, we've all played like sports and everything. So I think that was just the competitive side of me of like, oh, wow, I'm going to take this serious. And like, I did not like losing. I did not like not being the best out there. So I just took it more serious and started actually working as hard as I could.
Courtney, you've had a chance to experience this, so I'll let you and Chloe have the floor.
First of all, Chloe, I need you to stand up. I can't see the number 1 on the jersey, so I got to see the full look. Stand up. Let's see. There it is. Looks really good. Congratulations. Congratulations, Chloe. Welcome to the sorority of Miss Basketball. It's something that will never be taken away from you. And people will always call you Miss Basketball. Even when you're 14 years out past it like I am, like I go out to the grocery store and people, hey, I don't even know who they are. There's Miss Basketball. So it's something that you will have with you for the rest of your life. And so it's a amazing award. Something that I always like asking clients that I work with that have been Miss Basketball is, when did you know, like in your heart of hearts, that like getting Miss Basketball was something that was attainable for you? How old were you?
Probably like sophomore year or like freshman year, around that time. It's when I like started seeing like, oh, that means a lot to Indiana, like to me, Miss Basketball, like that is a big deal.
Yeah.
And I felt like things out, like we were at
We're in a live construction zone.
I don't know what that was.
They're already erecting the Chloe Spreen statue here.
That's Bedford for you.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, where was I?
Freshman, sophomore year.
Oh yeah. That's when I realized like it was a big deal to wear this number 1 jersey. For sure. But as we won state too, and then like Layla got it, and I was like, oh, that's definitely like a goal of mine, like I can get there. But I feel like throughout high school, as I like worked hard and as like we won stuff, like I feel like we had a chance of I don't know what's going on.
They just don't want you to finish the sentence.
I know. I feel like we had a chance of like winning team goals, and so like as that went on, I feel like I could definitely like achieve some of my personal goals by the end of senior year.
We talked about that state run, and it kind of felt like that was kind of your Miss Basketball moment, specifically that Lawrence North game when you kind of took over. But at Gamebridge, you talked about just how composed you were and stress-free. If you could just speak to that and what your mentality was like going into that game.
I feel like that game was. I feel like that game was probably the most composed I had ever been. I think a lot of it too. I was older. I was just a junior though, but like being on that team with the seniors too, they kept me composed too. But we had a lot of young players too who were very like wound up about the game. So I just knew like. And even in the other team, you could just tell everyone was nervous. Like, but going to that game, I knew that I had to be composed and I had to be calm about the game. And when I went out there, it was honestly one of like Lawrence North game was way more like that. Like, I feel like state was the most composed that had been the whole tournament. And like sectionals, like we have such a high expectation to win sectionals that like we had gotten to that state game. So like there, it was like we were there. Now I just gotta win it.
Yeah. Danny, I'll ask you because you've known Chloe for a while now. How have you seen her develop and grow?
Well, I think I would categorize, Chloe's ascension to Miss Basketball as, reaching expectations. I think Chloe really unfairly was one of those kids that a lot of people had crowned Miss Basketball when they were in 7th grade. And that's a really unfair thing to do. And people try to do that now with like, hey, this kid's going to win Miss Basketball in 2030. We don't know. Okay. But, if you're looking at who the most talented kid is in the class, like Chloe certainly has an argument there. If you're going to look at who you're going to draft, if you're starting a team, Chloe certainly has an argument there, but other kids do too. But that's not the criteria of Miss Basketball. Criteria of Miss Basketball obviously encompasses, winning and other abstract things that you would talk about. But so I would think that Chloe, like reaching those expectations, I think is a really challenging thing because when you're at the top, everyone will always throughout 4 years try to find a reason why you shouldn't be Miss Basketball. And I think Chloe, you just had enough helium in your resume that you just didn't give anybody a reason to give it to anybody else. I think I would ask you, talk about those expectations because that's a really difficult thing to do when you're starting to hear things in 7th grade before you've even stepped foot on a varsity basketball floor about how this kid's going to win Miss Basketball, this kid's going to win Miss Basketball, and what that kind of did to maybe your psyche throughout the year.
Yes, definitely like when we started playing together in AU and playing from those coaches and offers coming in and then expectations coming in of me coming into high school was definitely a lot. There was a lot of like, especially in our hometown and a lot on social media of all those expectations to be great and do great. But I feel like I've learned throughout definitely my whole high school career of just learning how to like it's mentally as hard as it is physically, playing this game, but I think I just had to take it into a mental perspective of like just trusting my work and like trusting everything I put into this game each and every day and like not letting others like tell me who I am or giving me those expectations or letting them really get to me. I mean, at times it did definitely get to me, like going and playing other places. Like people will always have something to say about me and like it's fine. But I feel like I just had to learn how to handle it. And as I got older, I feel like I did get better at it. Like senior year and junior year was a lot easier on me. Not only because like we were just doing good as a team. It was just like even when you're doing good, it was still really hard for me. But I just learned how to mentally handle it. I mean, just got to teach yourself that, I feel like.
I do have another question. Like, so Chloe, I sat in the stands and listened to opposing student sections get after Sydney Parrish. I listened to opposing student sections get after Ashlyn Shade and, some of the best players. And I've also sat in arenas and heard what student sections say to you. Talk about that. I mean, did that fuel you? Did that motivate you? And kind of how maybe other student sections and other schools kind of reacted to you? I mean, you almost become this, and not villain of sorts, but you almost become this when you're at the top, people want to knock you off your throne. Is that something that you heard during this? Because you got it as worse as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, definitely from freshman year, every away game has been terrible. But
your first one at Mooresville was really bad.
Yeah.
No, that's not shot in Mooresville.
That was like my welcome to high
That's a
school.
great student. That's a great student section. But I just remember I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be her life on game night for
That
4
was
years.
my welcome to high school moment right there. Yeah, it's been hard. I mean, I feel like there's a lot more hate than love sometimes, but I just feel like it's the type of person you are to take that in and just handle it. You have to be a type of person to handle that. And I feel like you have to make yourself that type of person too. But a lot of people do like high school basketball, especially in Indiana. Like you're gonna get that on the boys or girls side, whether you're the top player, you're one of the best. I definitely think I had a lot of hate throughout my years, but I just learned how to handle it. Student sections were definitely mean. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like it did get to me at times when I was younger. I mean, I wouldn't say as much now because I've learned how to handle it, but it was hard, especially when you're trying to concentrate and people are just in your ear saying the most horrific and awful things about you. So that was hard, but you learn and grow from it. So next game I was prepared. After Mooresville.
Was there anything funny? Like, was there any like good singers that kind of made you laugh a little bit?
I mean, yeah, some of them were, I don't know, some of them were just crazy. I couldn't even give you a specific one. There was too much.
That's kind of good and bad, I suppose, and nothing's like still needling you
No.
specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that was like nice.
Danny, I hear a story that Jeff Allen, when Jory won Miss Basketball in 2019, he told you, I got another one coming up through the pipeline. Just you wait. And here she is.
I mean, I think the expectations around that community is that they, I guess what is their second Miss Basketball in 5 years and 12 straight sectional championships and a state champion, 2 state championships, dating back to Jory's older sister, Jenna, also won one. And so, yeah, I think Indiana All-Star jerseys and particularly the one jerseys in the culture there, but that kind of speaks to the expectation that was levied on Chloe. And that's why this is super impressive. Because Jeff called a shot early, and I don't think anybody that should think that there's a coincidence between the timing of his retirement and the graduation of Chloe Spreen. I think the two were married in this individual goal, and they were going to try to achieve it through Bedford North Lawrence team goals. So Chloe, talk about your relationship with Jeff and how he really helped you kind of fit the one and what he did along the way to help you accomplish your individual goals.
Jeff has been, we've been together this whole ride. He's been with me throughout this whole ride together. But him retiring the year that I'm leaving means a lot to me too. It means he did invest all those 4 years into staying for me. And I know he's going through it, and his wife wants him to be at home now. And last year, I know she was done with it too, but he stayed that 4th year. But we are obviously really close. The whole coaching staff is close, along with Chase too. But Jeff has always been, I feel like he's the type of coach you want to be around, because he's the type of coach that has always believed in me, whether it's been a bad game or a good game. He's always been there for me, as in keep going. And he's taught me a lot of life lessons too. He always tells us that we're one of his daughters, and I feel like I'm one of his daughter at a time, whether he's mad at me or he's happy with me. I feel like he's the type of coach that he's just a great guy. He wants nothing for the best of you. But this coaching staff and this team, the amount of work we've put in, and then just the ways they do things, along with Jeff just leading all of us to do that, is what the reason that we are the way we are, is because we are around him so much. And I feel like he just is a great example of a great coach of what it's like to be especially living in Bedford. We know basketball is a very big thing, but Jeff has been such a big part of that. And our team is great players with great girls, but he's raised us to be that way. And the way the whole Bedford system works, he's kept that going and is succeeded in it as much as we all have.
Courtney, you got one more?
Yeah, you kind of already mentioned it, Chloe. It's lonely at the top. When you have that one jersey, when you're on that process that you've been on, and something. So I love the mindset side of things. And you talked about how you had to stay mentally locked in during the process from, 7th grade all the way through your senior year. If you were to go back, now you're Miss Basketball, You're setting here. You're getting ready to go on spring break. You're going to go to Indiana All-Star time. Then you're headed to Alabama. What would you say to your 7th grade self when it comes to how to take care of yourself mentally? Because I know there's a lot of other 7th grade girls that are watching this right now that have aspirations of being in your seat here in 6 years. Except what, 4 plus 2? Yeah, 6. Good math there, right? Okay, so what would you say to yourself?
I would say never stop being you and work as hard as you can and trust it. I would say trust it completely.
That's going to be underneath your statue at Bedford North Lawrence. They're going to have that.
Yeah,
What you just said right there, Chloe Spreen. Boom, drop the mic. Nailed
we
it.
can actually run outside and tell them now because I don't think they started inscribing. The drilling stopped a little bit. But Chloe, thanks so much again, and
Yes,
congratulations on
thank
just
you.
an amazing run.
Thank you, guys.
Chloe.
Congrats, Chloe.
For Danny, Courtney, and Chloe Spreen, I'm Brian Haenchen, and we will talk to you again soon.